Protected national parks, the tiger proves to be a resourceful and even surprising predator.
This exceptionally bold and athletic male specializes in hunting from ambush around the lakes.
Crocodiles have taken the tiger's prey before he's had a chance to eat it, but he has no intention of losing his meal.
For 9 hours, the tiger waits. Finally, he summons up enough courage to reclaim his kill. The water is deep, and it takes a supreme feat of strength to swim through the water plants while dragging the 250-pound Sambar.
The Land of the Tiger, an outstanding film of one of nature's animal wonders. Tuesday at 8 on National Geographic. This fall, TV Ontario will make your Wednesday night special with a series of outstanding television programs beginning September 11th. There's a lavish production of Turgenev's A Month in the Country, followed by the repeat of the chilling science fiction thriller The Quatermass Conclusion. September 25th, you'll see Poppyland, the transformation of the scenic Norfolk coast into a refuge for Victorian literati. In October, there'll be a special on the creation of the universe, a compelling look at how scientists explain our cosmic beginnings. Later, we'll repeat the spellbinding biography of Sir Laurence Olivier, followed by Olivier's portrayal of an enigmatic artist in John Fowles' The Ebony Tower. Baryshnikov, The Dancer in the Dance, airs in October, followed by the Burston Rebellion, the dramatic story of the longest strike in Britain's history. Wednesday night specials, starting September 11th on TV Ontario. This is TV Ontario, Channel 19 in Toronto, Channel 7 in Timmins.
Tonight's edition of Saturday Night at the Movies is a revival of one of our best programs from a previous season. Please excuse any topical references which no longer seem to apply.
The Northwest Passage, in the imagination of all free people, is a shortcut to fame, fortune, and romance, a hidden route to Golconda and the mystic East. On every side of us are men who hunt perpetually for their own personal Northwest Passage, too often sacrificing health, strength, and life itself to the search. And who shall say they are not happier in their vain but hopeful quest than wiser, duller folk who sit at home, venturing nothing, and with sour laughs deriding the seekers for that fabled thoroughfare, that panacea for all the afflictions of a humdrum world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the opening paragraph of Kenneth Roberts' Northwest Passage. To me, the greatest adventure novel, I guess, ever written, and the basis for one of the greatest films on bravery and courage, human bravery and courage that you could imagine. An incredible film. And yet, if I take a look here at a photostat of another book, a book called Hollywood, The Golden Era by Jack Spears, there's a chapter called The Indian on Screen, and Spears, who is no slouch as an authority and critic, writes, King Vidor's Northwest Passage, 1940, is one of the most vicious anti-Indian films ever made, and was built around the deliberate massacre of an Indian village in which men, women, and children are ruthlessly killed. The only motive was to avenge a white man whom the Indians had tortured to death. Clearly, ladies and gentlemen, we are facing a dilemma. And that's the reason for our journey tonight into a theme that we're calling the Indian in cinema and reality. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to Saturday Night at the Movies. My name is Elway Yost. Our two movies tonight take very opposing views toward the story of the Red Man. And we have a number of our native peoples as guests, two in the studio and one at a powwow in northwestern Ontario. And we have some Hollywood guests as well, and it's going to be quite a night. Well, our first picture is no surprise to you now, having given you that intro. Coming up in just about a minute and a half's time is Northwest Passage, created in 1940 by that master of cinema, King Vidor, and starring a few masters, too. Spencer Tracy as Major Robert Rogers, an historical figure. Much of what you see is true. It actually happened. And he is well aided and abetted by Robert Young, and of course he's assisted beautifully by Ruth Hussey, and Walter Brennan's in the cast, and Nat Pendleton. The second feature coming on at 10:30 tonight is The Broken Arrow, a very different film, one of the first films to say something full of conscience about the Indian, and it's got James Stewart in it. Delmer Davies made it, and Jeff Chandler's there, and I think you like that 10:30 for that one. Our guests include Millie Redmond, who's executive director of Council Fire, a social group concerned with helping the red man cope with social problems. And Gary Farmer is here too. He's an Indian. He's also an actor involved in radio and television and film. And Rick MacArthur you'll meet at a powwow. And from Hollywood you'll meet King Vidor, who directed Northwest Passage, and Noah Beery, who's been in many a cowboy and Indian film, and Victor McLaglin's son, Andrew McLaglin, who talks about some of the John Wayne movies. But now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our first film, Northwest Passage. I can think of no better way of doing it than by reading, really, I guess, what Kenneth Roberts wrote way back in the early 30s. This book has not been written to prove a case. It is not an argument against what is called the crucible of war, nor is it an attempt to show that no man has ever been tempered in that crucible without bearing one of war's inevitable scars, without having become cruel, an ingrate, a wastrel, diseased, selfish, self-deluded, a drunkard, contemptuous of what is good, or without faith in God or mankind. It may at times seem to hint that patriots, steadfast defenders of their country against enemies in war. What can I say except, and so ends King Vidor's epic, Northwest Passage. Do you agree? One of the greatest tales of human courage and bravery ever presented on the screen. My God, what Robert Rogers went through and what his men went through. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, to be fair, it's all of those things, if seen in a special way from the vantage point of view of the white man. If looked at from the vantage point of the Indian, it becomes a crusade that leads to the massacre of an entire tribe, the massacre of men, women, and children. That's part of our dilemma and part of our search tonight here on Saturday Night at the Movies. Now, we're going to go to a few TV Ontario highlights, and then I shall be right back.
Stay tuned for more Saturday Night at the Movies.
TV Ontario presents a new learning series, Parents and Children, 6 Vital Issues, starting September 24th on Tuesdays at 10. Host Fidel Maynard introduces a background documentary and a brief drama. Then there is a discussion with parents in studio. For $39, you can register in TV Ontario's Parents and Children course. You'll receive a viewer's guide, a newsletter, a parent's guide to children's television viewing, and a computer-managed correspondence component that will help you explore your own parenting values and goals. For information or to register, call this toll-free number, 1-800-268-1121, day or night. You may use Visa or MasterCard when you register. The task of raising children was never a simple one. Learn more about parenting. Watch Parents and Children, 6 Vital Issues, beginning September 24th, Tuesdays at 10 on TV Ontario. Truly rewarding television.
Like all of his kind, he is solitary for most of his life. A lone hunter who lives by stealth.
Tuesday at 8, a journey to the land of the dreaded tiger. Now recovering from near extinction in India's protected national parks, the tiger proves to be a resourceful and even surprising predator.
This exceptionally bold and athletic male specializes in hunting from ambush around the lakes.
Crocodiles have taken the tiger's prey before he's had a chance to eat it, but he has no intention of losing his meal.
For 9 hours, the tiger waits. Finally, he summons up enough courage to reclaim his kill. The water is deep, and it takes a supreme feat of strength to swim through the water plants while dragging the 250-pound Sambar.
The Land of the Tiger, an outstanding film of one of nature's animal wonders. Tuesday at 8 on National Geographic.